A suspect in the Brooklyn Park Salvation Army arson case appeared in court Monday. Jack Heinrich is charged with 3 felonies: second-degree arson, second-degree burglary, and first-degree damage to property. Heinrich was previously arrested and charged in a case in which he was accused of cutting down a flag near Highway 610 and Zane Avenue, then assaulting and trying to spit on police. In the Salvation Army case, Heinrich is accused of smashing windows and using donated coats to start a fire at the Brooklyn Park Service Center. The building's sprinkler system helped prevent additional fire damage, but Salvation Army officials estimate damage to the building at more than $100,000. According to the criminal complaint, police located Heinrich near the scene. During his arrest, police found a lighter, marijuana, and a small glass pipe in his possession. During his transport to jail, police say the suspect kicked at the cages in the squad and tried to damage the vehicle's cameras. A Plymouth woman, whom prosecutors describe as a serial fraudster, has pleaded guilty to her role in trying to defraud the federal government out of more than $11 million. Prosecutors accused Anab Awad of operating a scheme with others to take advantage of a federally funded child nutrition program. Court documents show Awad operated a nonprofit to serve meals to kids at several food distribution sites, including one in Osseo. However, documents show Awad falsified invoices and meal count records, then later received funds that substantially exceeded the amount needed. Prosecutors say the scheme took advantage of oversight measures loosened during the pandemic. Court records show Awad also pled guilty in a separate multi-million-dollar Medicaid health care fraud scheme. It's not just Minnesota governor and attorney general races drawing people to the polls. Here in the northwest suburbs, there are several races we are focusing on in this year's local vote. Brooklyn Park City Hall was busy on Monday as many voters participated in the last day for early voting before Tuesday's election. Reporter Sonia Goins shows us what you need to know before heading out to the polls.
There's a steady stream of voters here at Brooklyn Park City Hall. According to election officials, over 7,400 people have already casted their vote early. Residents had to pack their patience to vote early in Brooklyn Park on Monday. The parking lot was full, and inside the line went down the hallway.
Probably like 30 minutes, so it's worth it. You gotta put a vote.
The highly anticipated mayor's race is drawing people to the polls.
In 2018, we were about 20% of early voters. Right now, we're standing about 16%. So I think we'll probably hit our 20% numbers as well.
The city will elect its first black mayor in the city's history. City Council member Winfred Russell is going up against Hollis Winston.
As long as they're doing the right thing and, to help us out in the area. So that's important to me.
Voters told us local elections matter. Everything from construction projects to school issues is decided on the local level.
I think everybody should have their opinion be known. I think that if you want to have an opinion, you need to vote.
Meanwhile, the Salvation Army Voting Center caught on fire last week, but people can still cast their vote inside.
If you're in precinct C8, it's still open.
Instead of standing in long lines, people in Brooklyn Park can also participate in curbside voting.
We'll come out, have the voter fill out the application, come back in, check them in, and then we'll bring the voter's ballot.
It's too late to mail in your ballot, and if you have a ballot at home, you have until 3 p.m. Tuesday to drop it off at City Hall. Otherwise, past the deadline, you'll have to vote in person.
And if you want to complain later about what's going on, then you have to vote.
In Brooklyn Park, Sonia Goins, CCX News.
The polls will be open from 7 a.m. until 8 p.m. on Election Day, and stay with ccxmedia.org to see the latest election results and local interviews. There are some legislative districts on the fringe of the metro that are battleground districts. Whichever political party emerges victorious could have control of the state legislature.
The best calculation is we're probably down to no more than 10 seats out of 134 that are going to really determine the control of the state legislature. And you have several seats, just within your area, that are potentially could really determine the partisan control of the House of Representatives.
Schultz is a political science professor at both Hamlin and the University of Minnesota. He says 2 key areas to watch are in Dakota County and in Plymouth. 2 state house seats are up for grabs in Plymouth, which are 42A. That will be either Republican Kathy Burkett or DFL member Ned Carroll, or 42B, which will be Republican Jackie Schroeder or DFL incumbent Ginny Cleavorn. On the Senate side in District 42, which covers Plymouth and a small part of Maple Grove, voters will choose between Republican Paul Hillen or DFL candidate Bonnie Westland.
Still technically only one person, one vote, but effectively a lot more influence.
Whichever party controls the House of Representatives picks the Speaker of the House, which is arguably the second most powerful person in the state. Right now, that person is Representative Melissa Hortman of Brooklyn Park. You might see a Twin Cities landmark in a new way if you stop by an exhibit currently on display at the Hopkins Center for the Arts.
And the works all feature very recognizable landmarks around our area. So I think people will see things they recognize and maybe open our eyes to areas that we haven't explored before.
The Hopkins Center for the Arts features the artwork of Karkeet Chong in an exhibit called Impressions of Twin Cities in Ink and Watercolor. Chong has called the Twin Cities home since 1999, and his artwork in ink and watercolor feature Twin Cities locations. This exhibit will be up until December 3rd. We'll leave you now with more of the show.
It's been a very strong year for cross country in the northwest suburbs this fall. The season wrapped up with the state meet. Here's Jason Malillo with the Class 3A highlights.
The best of the best in Minnesota high school cross country battling at the state meet in Northfield. In the girls' race, Wayzata's Abby Nekanicki completes her fantastic season, smashing the field and winning the Class 3A title with a time of 16 minutes, 47.7 seconds. Hopkins sophomore Sydney Drevlo is runner-up for the second year in a row. Wayzata's Tegan Anderson kicks hard for 9th place, with teammate Grace Mignon finishing 12th. Armstrong's Caitlin Osseo is 15th, and Wayzata's Maddie Gullickson 16th, as the Trojans follow Nekanicki's lead and win the team title.
I think it just made me so much more motivated. Just with the time off, I really realized how just special and important it is to be able to race with such an amazing team. So to be out there towing the line with them right by my side, it was just an awesome feeling today.
The boys' 3A race was up next. Minneapolis Washburn's Aiden Jones clocks a personal record of 15 minutes, 11.73 seconds, and wins the state title, with Southwest Sam Scott taking silver. Wayzata's Hamza Mohammed finishes just out of the money in 4th place, with Armstrong's Noah Brecker finishing 7th, and Wayzata's William Weber 9th, as the Trojans win the boys' team title as well. In Northfield, Jason Malillo, CCX Sports.
The state playoffs start later this week for prep football teams. Class 6A's top-ranked team kept their unbeaten season rolling forward.
Maple Grove looking to finish 6-0 at home this season, hosting Forest Lake with a section title on the line. Tied at 7 in the second quarter when Crimson kicker Connor Fournier boots through a 47-yard field goal. That's a school record, and it gives Maple Grove a 10-7 lead. The Crimson break open a close game in the final 5 minutes of the first half. Forest Lake run up the middle, and Jacob Anderson strips the ball away from the running back. The senior takes it back 34 yards for a touchdown to put MG up 17-7. Next possession for Forest Lake. Tanner Albeck flies in and blocks the Rangers' punt, picks the ball up, drops it around the 10-yard line, but Mason Byer is there to take it in the rest of the way. Maple Grove leads 24-7. After a successful recovery by Albeck of a pooch kick on the ensuing kickoff, quarterback Jacob Kilzer caps off a short scoring drive with a 1-yard touchdown run. Fournier would kick a 43-yard field goal on the last play of the half to make it 33-7 Crimson at halftime. First play from scrimmage for Maple Grove in the second half, and Kilzer airs one out. Anderson with a nice catch on the other end. It's a 55-yard touchdown. Maple Grove goes on to rout Forest Lake 54-21. The Crimson face Eastridge Friday at 7 p.m. at Chanhassen High School.
Armstrong hosting Cooper in the Section 5-5A title game. First quarter, Cameron Fox floats a pass for Jackson Howard, and it's a Hawks touchdown. They're up 7-0. Falcons hit on a big play to answer, a 51-yard strike by Jamin Malone to Marquand Tucker, and it's 7-all. That's the score until the third quarter when Malone goes up top and Seth Newbern makes a great catch. It's a 32-yard connection and sets up a 5-yard touchdown run by Malone. Armstrong takes the lead. Later in the third, Malone launches again and Tucker with another big reception, setting up the Falcons on the 6-yard line. And then Reggie Carter walks in for the score, and it's 21-7. Armstrong's defense gets the ball right back as Isaiah Cotton with the strip and Jack Neff recovers. Ensuing drive, Malone hits Tucker and he breaks tackles and scampers for a 35-yard score. Falcons up 28-7 early in the fourth quarter. Then check out this run by Carter as he escapes from Howard and zips home for a 37-yard touchdown. The Falcons senior rushes for 217 yards and 3 scores, and Armstrong wins 42-7, taking the section title. Jason Melillo, CCX Sports.
Find more prep sports games and highlights at ccxmedia.org.